Hi there, I'm Angela, and today I'm going to be sorting through my fabric stash with you guys. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. As promised, this fabric sorting video has been kind of long in the works, and my intention with this is to go through most of my stash and kind of sort through, pick out the pieces that I maybe I've had for a while, probably won't ever sew maybe, and could they be rehomed, or could I use them as toile fabric or muslin fabric, or maybe I've had a change of heart and I like them after all. So I'm going to kind of cull through the fabric and also sort it. So I do keep my fabric in these bins, which I'll share with you in a little more detail here in a moment. And I want to get all the fabric sorted by type, like so t-shirt knits together, linens together, and so forth. At one point when I first put this bin system into place, I did have it nicely sorted, but since then, after like going through it many times, adding to it, taking from, it's gotten way out of whack. So I'm going to put it back in order. So that's kind of the goals for this process that I'm sharing with you guys today. I do apologize for like any kind of lack of hairstyling going on today. We're having a hot day, and worse yet, it's about 100% humidity out there. So just wet brush. That's about it. There's just no point. So with that, let us jump right in. I think the best way to handle this might be for me just to empty out all the bins onto the table, and then I can kind of lay the pieces out and sort through them and stack them with like fabrics together. So that's going to be my approach. And as I'm emptying the bins, I'm probably going to put that on a fast forward just because it might take a little while, and that might be kind of boring for you guys to have to watch. So, but once I get into the sorting process, then I'll go ahead and put it back on regular speed and talk through it as I go. So let's do it. So before we get going with this mess here, I did tell you that I was going to kind of describe my bin system to you guys. So a couple years ago, when my husband and I did some kind of major remodeling of our house and reorganization, we reorganized my sewing room here and his office. He works from home 100%. His office is on the first floor of the house, whereas my room is on the second floor. So we did major redoing of those spaces. So what we did, I have a couple of closets in this room. It's intended to be a bedroom, so there's a couple of closets in here. One of the closets I just use for storage of like Christmas decorations, Thanksgiving stuff, household documents, and things like that. And then the other closet is what I call my craft closet. So what we did in there was to put in like a couple of shelves, like just two shelves that run the whole length of the closet. And we just got that from Home Depot, like DIY. It wasn't like a fancy system or anything. But I did pick up these bins on sale, like discounted at the Container Store online. So I have been keeping my fabrics in here. And when I first put this organizational system in process or in place, I had all the fabrics organized nicely, but then over the last couple of years of trying to search through them to pull out pieces of fabric or add to, they've gotten to be kind of a mess. So I'm going to get them all nicely sorted and squared away in their bins again. And most of the fabrics here that we're going to look through today are garment fabrics. There are a few home decor fabrics, and I think I'm going to start by pulling those out first, just because they'll be easy. Also, they're kind of bulky, so getting them off the table will kind of like reduce the mess here. So I'm going to readjust the camera angle so that we're looking at mostly the table. So that might cut my head off. So just a word in advance about that. So give me 1 second and we'll get to it. So the first thing that has caught my eye are these, they're like a faux suede material in 2 shades of brown. When we were at our old house, we had a TV room in the basement, and I made some nice giant sized pillows out of these, the kind that you can just toss on the floor and sit on. And the fabric is so nice that I've held on to it. And we don't have a finished basement at this house, but we are planning to finish it. And I guess I keep wanting to like recreate that old TV room that we had at the old house because it was so nice. Also, these colors went very nicely with our couch that we had in the TV room at that house. So I'm kind of hanging on to them. They are pretty nice, and if nothing else, what I thought I could end up doing with these is making some kind of like costume. We like to go to the Renaissance Festival, not every year, but every now and then we'll go. But it could be nice to make some kind of a costume out of these because they have that suede look. So they could make a nice like a vest for my husband or something like that. So for now, I will hang on to these. That may change. It's so hard to part with fabrics if you even like them just even a little bit. Do you guys feel the same way? So I'm going to I grabbed one of my bins and kind of tuck these in here. If it's turning out that this video is going to be like majorly long, what I may end up doing is cutting it in half in 2 videos so I don't bore you guys to tears. Okay. And then some of the other home decor fabrics that I have are, I'm sorry if that's crinkling too much, but they're in this bag here because they all kind of go together. I bought these to coordinate a few years back to recover the cushions on all of our patio furniture. And it turns out I have quite a bit left. So they all go together. So I have them in this bag together. I'm going to save that for sure just because we still have those cushions. And if one of them needs recovering or repairing, or if we add more seating, more cushions, I want to use those same fabrics. So I'm hanging on to that. And as I get a bin full, I'm going to go ahead and place it into the closet. So I might like kind of edit those portions out of the videos. You don't need to see me like walking to and from and taking up time doing that. Oh, before we go, one other piece of home decor fabric I bought recently at Joann's on the clearance table, or maybe just on sale. It might not have been on clearance. Was this here. I just bought a couple of yards, maybe a yard. I thought that this would make cute cushions for outdoor because it kind of goes with the fabrics that I just showed you in the big bag. They kind of have like a tropical like bird theme, so I had to grab that up. So yeah. Hey again, I wanted to share with you guys kind of an interesting story. Most of the fabrics here, some of them I've had for quite a long time, but a lot of them I bought just before and during the pandemic. So a few months before the pandemic started, I had decided I was going to get really heavily back into garment sewing, kind of switch gears from quilting, get back to garment sewing, and I bought some fabrics and I picked out patterns, and I was going to make like clothes that I could wear to my job, which was an office job. And then the pandemic hit, and I was almost 100% remote from home. I would go into the office 1 day a week, and then later sometimes 2 days a week. And we were already a casual workplace, so I kind of got out of that mode of making like office-y type clothes and just decided to still kind of stay in garment sewing because I had my steam going to get back to garment sewing, but I kind of steered away from making business casual type clothes to just dresses or pants or anything that kind of, suited my fancy. And because I, like a lot of people, had such a large amount of anxiety during the pandemic, especially that first year, I did a lot of shopping therapy with fabrics. So a lot of these fabrics have been purchased in the past couple of years. And I guess I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I kind of went overboard with it. So I'm trying to sew through my stash, and I'm also pulling out pieces that could be given to a better home. So that's where a lot of these fabrics have come from. Okay, so let's get back to it. So I'm trying to, oh yeah, and I found a couple of more pieces of home decor fabric that I'm going to go stick in that box. Or the bin, and go put that in the bin. So I thought next I would kind of pull aside any linen or linen blend or linen look type fabrics. It's kind of hard to know where to start here. There's just so much. So I am going to really get serious about sewing through the fabric. See, some of them are still in the bags even. And I've kind of been back and forth on, do I wash the fabrics right as soon as they come into the house, or do I wait until right before I go to use them? And it may not be as easy as just picking out the linens without quite a bit more sorting taking place before then. One other thing that I have had done since just last year, so after I bought a lot of these fabrics, was to have my colors done. And I'm finding out now that maybe a lot of these aren't necessarily my best colors. Oh, this is a knit. I'm going to pull it aside because it wasn't a knit I bought to make garments with. I bought this to cover some pillows with, like that are made for neck support that we sleep with, and I bought enough that I could recover them as the covers get kind of grungy. So I'm going to put that one with the home decor fabrics. I'm seeing this here. This is like a crepey type of fabric. I already know off the top of my head that I am not going to keep this. It's way too pale to even look like interesting or even flattering at all on me. So I'm going to pull that aside, and I'll grab a bin to kind of put fabrics that I know I'm not keeping in. And I apologize, I'm not real close to the camera just because I wanted you guys to see the whole table. I'll try to get the fabrics as close as I can. But I'm not even sure like what drew me to this, or else maybe the color looked different online. So that one is not a keeper. And I know pretty much off the bat that this fabric is not a keeper as well. This is, it feels linen-y. It's a bright corally pink, and it does have some sequins on it. Not sure if that's showing up for you guys. It's a beautiful fabric, but it's definitely not a good color for me. I want to make sure that this goes somewhere where it will be used because it's such a nice fabric. I've had this like before the pandemic, and I think I just fell in love with it without any thought of how I could practically use it. So that one will go in the giveaway pile. And I'm seeing some lining fabrics. I'm going to pull those aside. I will keep those, even just small pieces. And what's funny, I was recently looking for a piece of black lining and couldn't find it. And here you go. So I may end up recutting that piece that I had to use a different color lining for out of this. I'm going to put that one up there. And for now, I'll set that one there. I hope this is not boring you guys to tears. If you want to skip ahead, feel free. I think what this video today might be is just sorting these into their piles. This is a fabric that, it's a boucle. It's a navy blue with some sequins on it. It's really pretty, and I use this. I made a cape with it, and I have quite a bit left over. I'll bring this one in closer so you guys can see it. It's a black with some blue threads running through it and the sequins. It's a beautiful fabric, and I made like a long cloak or cape out of it. One day I'll try that on for you guys and share it if you're interested. This is nice fabric, and I am saving that. It might take up a whole bin by itself. This is lining fabric that I got from Mood, I believe. It feels really nice, and there's quite a bit of it here. So I'll put that with the other lining fabric. This is another piece of like a linen-y material. What is it? It's a rayon linen. It's pretty nice, but once again, it's this corally pink color that I don't really think that suits me very well, so I'll probably rehome that. And it just occurred to me that if I end up with some decent yardage, what I may end up doing is offering it to one of you guys if you're interested. Maybe if someone just wanted to pay shipping or something like that, or I don't really want to get into trying to become a fabric seller on Destashify. Maybe one day, but right now that's just it's outside the scope of what I have time for. This is a very large piece of what feels like maybe a rayon cotton spandex. I like the color, and there's quite a bit of it here, so I'm going to hang on to that and put it in with the knits. Actually, I'm going to put it back in the bag it came in. I know that if the fabric's still in the bag, it has not been washed. And another piece of lining. I love finding these little pieces of lining here and there just because you never know when you're going to need lining. One other kind of knit category that's like a category by itself is fabrics I've bought to make knit tops and knit pants, kind of like leggings but for sleepwear. So those I can spot right off the top of my head because I bought them especially for that purpose and just have not done it yet. I'm telling you, I went really crazy with COVID buying. So I'm going to start that pile here. And this is a pretty nice piece here. This is a color that I would wear out rather than just for pajamas. So I'll keep that with the pajama fabric for now. But for instance, this lime green probably would not wear out unless it was to the gym, so that'll be a pajama piece. Same with this neon pink here. So I've got a decent amount there. And some of these pieces are leftovers from garments that I've made and had a pretty decent size piece left over. So I'll kind of point those out as we go. Like for instance, this is a knit here that has, I think I got this on fabric.com. It's really pretty colors, and it has these little citrus. I made a swimsuit cover up out of that for vacation last year and have kind of a decent amount left, enough to maybe make a t-shirt. So I hang on to that. So I'm going to put the pajama knits in a bin. And so for instance, when I first started to get back to sewing and wanted to make some clothes to wear to work, I bought this, I think it's Maybe it's some kind of a twill, but it's plaid, and I found a nice Mimi G pattern for some pants to make with this. It's very, I'll bring this in closer to show you guys. Very businessy. I love it, and now I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I'll ever make anything out of this. I have since changed jobs, as you may have heard me talk about here on the channel, and I work for a nature center, so we do not dress up at all there. And now I'm wondering if I even want to keep this or not. I mean, it's possible that I may make something out of this businessy at some point, but who knows when that might be. I guess for now I'll hang on to it because it feels pretty nice. It's a decent piece of fabric. And here's a piece of lightweight twill. I used this to make a McCall's jacket on a collaboration that I did with Made by Pam. And I had some left. I loved working with this fabric. So I am going to hang on to this. It kind of goes with that plaid piece a little bit. That's a possibility. This is, I thought this was a black lining at first, but it's actually got a texture like a suede texture and kind of a sheen to it a little bit. I'm not sure why I bought this unless I just got it on clearance and thought you can always use a nice piece of pretty black fabric. But I'm hanging on to that because, like I said, you never know when you could use a nice pretty piece of black fabric. Not sure where to put it yet in the grand scheme of things here, but for now, keeping that. And let's see. So I didn't really have as many linen pieces as I thought. There's the two coral ones that I'm getting rid of, and this nice green one that I'm keeping for sure. So linen might not get its own bucket because there may not be enough to go in there. What else have we got? This is a stretch cotton sateen. And does it stretch? Yeah. Once again, this is one of those that I got before I had my colors done and thought that pink was my color. Certain shades of pink are deeper rose tones, but certainly not bubblegum or Barbie pink. But I do still love it, and what I thought I could do with this, and the original intention was to make a pair of capri pants. I could do that and then make the pants out of this blue or this like gray green in there or something like that, or like a deeper pink. So I'm hanging on to that, and I'm going to put it in this bin with the plaid just because I don't know where else to put it. Okay. This is a piece that I got really cheap, probably fabric.com. It's a stretch. It's some kind of a knit, but when it came in, I wasn't enthralled with it. And I've hung on to it just thinking maybe I could use it for something. Now what I'm thinking is that I might be able to use it as muslin fabric for any knit garments that I want to make. So I probably ought to start a bin for fabrics intended to be used for toiles or muslins. So that's there. This is a piece of twill that I got. I think this is twill. Maybe it's a sateen. I think it's a sateen that I got from Mood Fabrics that I love, and I am going to use it, but I'm not sure for what. Maybe a dress, probably a dress. It's really pretty. It's got sort of the muted colors on it, which do work well for my, my colors. So I'm definitely hanging on to that. I'm just going to refold it here. This feels like a swimsuit type material or athletic wear, and I think that is why I purchased it to begin with. And I still do like it. It's kind of a dusty rose color, so I'll hang on to that, but it kind of should go with any other swimsuit fabrics that I have bought, which are just a couple of pieces, nothing too major. I have yet to foray into swimsuit making, so but I will. I know that I will. This is a gorgeous piece here that I don't know if I'll ever make because I'm not into bright red like I was at one point. It's Rifle Paper Company pattern, and I can't remember, this doesn't say where it came from, maybe fabric.com. And this might be one of those giveaway type of fabrics because it is beautiful, and I don't want it to end up, if I donate it to Goodwill or something and then they just dispose of it. I'm not sure what they do with their fabrics because I never see fabrics for sale at my Goodwill or any Goodwill in the area. So I don't know what they do with them, and I hate to think they're just sending them, you know, to be disposed of or to a fabric recycler. This feels gorgeous. It feels smooth. It looks so pretty. It's a beautiful, nice piece of fabric. I just don't think I will sew with it. So I'll put this in the giveaway pile. I'm kind of forgetting what I've showed you guys and what I haven't. There's so much here, it's pretty embarrassing. But I'm definitely not going back down this road again with all the fabric buying. I think what I may do now is to go ahead and just kind of sort through these without trying to talk at the same time, and then I'll come back to you guys. So give me just a minute to do that. So I've kind of got it sorted into types on my table here, and I just keep feeling like this cannot possibly be that interesting for you guys, but I'll kind of show you how I've sorted it. So I've got, let me move these out of the way. What I have here are the dressier kind of wovens. They could be like crepes or silky types, or twills or linen types, but they're just wovens that are a little bit on the dressier side. And these go there too. Some of these pieces I'll show you guys just because they're kind of interesting. They're different. They're not just your standard. This is a gorgeous green here that's sort of gauzy, but not exactly. And I'm planning one day to make a skirt out of this, like a gypsy type skirt. I thought that was really pretty. And then these other two greens, I love green. It's my favorite color, like almost any shade, are just smaller pieces that I got on remnants here and there that I couldn't pass up, that maybe I could make a scarf if nothing else. And so that's kind of the dressier wovens. And these two are just, I showed you guys this one that I made the swimsuit cover up with. This is a stretch. It's kind of like a jersey knit, sort of, but it's more structured and it's got like a rib texture. While the color is not like great for me, I love the feel of this fabric, and I got a bunch of this on a good deal once, and I used most of this to make a quilt backing with, and it was the first time that I'd ever backed a quilt with a knit fabric, and it came out pretty well, and I liked working with it. So I'm going to keep this, and I think what I could do is just to make some summer sporty type wear out of it, t-shirts for the gym or something like that. So that's that. Then these are knits that are either dressier or, you know, have like a pretty pattern. This one I've used before. I made a dress that I shared with you guys a little while back. It's a pretty rib knit, and I had some left. So these are kind of like my nicer knits that I would make street clothes out of, clothes that I would wear out and about, as opposed to beachy things or pajamas or something like that. These are the lining pieces that I found. And this is that funky black micro suede kind of material that I like. Not sure what to do with, but I'll figure it out. And then this is another knit, this pink one. Sorry about the bag there. It's sort of a dusty pink. I like that. I will make something out of that. And so that goes with the nicer knits. What else? This is a red piece of satin that I've had for decades, maybe. I got this back years and years ago when I worked at a fabric store off and on in my 20s, and I've held on to it. It's like made the cut over all these years, a couple of decades later, when I've culled through my fabric stash more than once, bought fabric, used fabric up, donated fabric. This one has always made the cut, and it's just gorgeous. I will make something out of this one day, even though this red is maybe a little too bright for me. I can't let go of this. It's so pretty. So that'll kind of go with this little black piece there that's a one-off that I'm not sure what I'll ever do with. This light pink is, I'm not sure how to classify this material. It feels kind of like a crepe, but it's structured a lot more than that. I am going to be doing a collaboration in October, and I'm going to use this to make a jumper out of. So that one has immediate plans. And these are little pieces of swimsuit fabric that I've bought lately with the intention of making a couple of swimsuits. Like I mentioned earlier, I have yet to jump into that area, but I want to, just to kind of advance my skills a little bit. And then this is a half-yard piece that has some comic book scenes on it that I loved. It was a remnant, and I'm thinking that this would do nicely for a bag. So I'm hanging on to that. And this is a nice piece of white crepe that I will hang on to. This should be with the dressier wovens right here, so I'll put that there. I apologize again for all the crinkling. And as far as what I've already pulled off the table, I have all the pajama knits. I have the pieces that are nice pieces that I will give away. A couple of pieces that I've pulled off to use for like muslins or toiles because I wouldn't donate them. The quality's just not that good. The sateen and that nice plaid that's in a bin down here for pants. And that's about it. One of my bins is I kind of have garments that I've gotten thrifted or garments that I bought that didn't fit quite right, but I just need to make some adjustments to or kind of upcycle them into something else. So I have a bin on the floor down there that has those garments in it. So what we are left with is some nice pieces here, and I'll show you guys these because at some point, so these are pieces that did not make the cut just because the colors. I like the fabric, but I'm not crazy about the colors, or they're too bright for me and would just totally look terrible. So these will all go in the to give away bin. So they're pretty, and I've gotten them here and there online. This is like a lightweight sateen, it feels like. Probably too thin for pants, but would make a nice top. And same with this. This one is really pretty. And this is a crepe. It's more of a mint green. And I thought I was going to have a hard time of kind of designating these to let go of because these were some of my my COVID coping fabrics. But I've got more than I'll ever sew up, and I really need to get sewing to sew through this. So I'm happy to let these go to a good home. This is kind of feels like I'm not sure what this is. It's lightweight. It's kind of almost a lime green. And then the last one in the to give away pile is, I want to say this is another one of those Rifle Paper Company fabrics, but I'm just not crazy about the pattern or the colors, but it's still very pretty and it feels really nice. So I feel like I've accomplished something today. I've organized my stash, which was my #1 goal, so the fabrics will be easier to find. And 2, I've pulled out the fabrics that will probably never get made into anything in my sewing room at least, and kind of broken those down into fabrics that are nice and that I could give away to another sewist, and a couple of pieces where the quality wasn't great, and I will use those for test fabrics. So now we've kind of gone through most of my fabrics, and I realize I didn't like unfold and show every single piece. I keep feeling like this video might be so incredibly boring for you guys. If there's anything specific that caught your eye that you wanted to see, please let me know. I'll be happy to share it on a future video. And like I said, my next step now is to get these into their bins, like fabrics together, get them back into the closet on the shelf. And now it'll be much easier for me to go in when I'm looking for a particular type of fabric to know where to find it. And I'm thinking, like, the more I'm thinking about it, at some point it's possible that I may offer up these fabrics, like these nice pieces, to one of you guys if you're interested. And it's not going to be like a giveaway per se. It's just like the first person to let me know that they want it and they're willing to pay shipping or something like that, I would be happy just to give those away. Still kind of tossing that around. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll definitely give you guys a heads up if I decide to do that. Yes, so thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this wasn't too boring. And now that I'm kind of making more sense of this mess and getting my craft closet organized and the rest of my sewing room, I'll be much more willing and ready to do a sewing room tour. So that is about all I have. Thanks again for hanging out with me. And I am not sure if I'll do a Friday sews this week or not, just because I'm working on Friday and Saturday of this week, which is typically not my normal schedule. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a Friday sews, but I'll definitely, if not, I'll be back with another video next week. So I'll see you guys again soon, either if not this weekend, then the following week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.